Thank you so much for coming. My name is Marlon. We also have Jaden and Dinah and Hector and one of our new staff who's in the room with us, Nicole. So welcome, Nicole. She's going to be hitting you guys with a lot of really cool new stuff. She's got a lot of skills as well. But I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to our amazing Miami-Dade Public Library System staff. And they're going to be doing voice acting today for you guys. So library staff, take it away.
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you, like always, with that great introduction, where we are going to be bringing you some fun and a little bit sometimes embarrassing tips and tricks for voiceover acting. I hope some of you are working on your comics and working on your characters. And at the same time, as you think about those characters and what their characteristics are, you can start thinking about their voices. So this is what we're going to be talking about today: how to start acting, how to even create your own demo reel so that you can get yourself started if you are interested in this career field.
We're going to be talking about some tips and tricks how to get started with voice acting and some of the materials that you're going to need in order to start your own process of voice acting. Okay. So first of all, what is a voiceover? Voiceover is basically a spoken word recording provided by a voice actor for a project or a production. Voiceovers help content creators share information, bring stories and characters to life, and most importantly, connect with your audience. So what are some tips to get started? Well, one of the first recommendations that we'd like to give you is to head to your local theater and jump on stage. So basically sign up for an improv class, or if you're in community college, theater or public theater, that is a great way to get some experience, because voice acting, like the word says, it is acting. So it's not just reading over words, you kind of have to perform. So joining up at your local theater is going to help you get over any kind of nervousness, or it also helps you with projecting your own voice on stage. Another great tip that we can give you is to attend any acting meetups in your area, signing up, and they were having meetings, because that's a wonderful place to meet other people that have the same interest as you. And everybody has different levels of experience. Some people might have commercial experience doing a voiceover for advertising. Some people might have experience doing their own podcast. So by meeting up other people with similar interests, you're gonna pick up tips and get experience. And it's a wonderful way of networking. So you wanna start thinking about networking and getting advice from other people. Another tip that you can do is to listen to commercials, or also small audio recordings, and then record on your own phone your own voice and play it back. And basically you're going to try to imitate the delivery, the way they pronounce words, how they enunciate. And depending on what area you want to get into, whether it's a character performance, or doing just simple voiceovers for narration, or podcasting, um, try to emulate that and practice that, because when you record yourself, it's a different experience than just speaking out loud. And now it's so much easier when you're using your phones, because most of them have voice recording applications. And finally is that you can get voice acting practice by using sample scripts. If you look through Google, there's different kinds of scripts for, like I said, for commercials, for television shows, even movies. They have the whole script. And so try to find a character that has pretty much the same voice range that you have. So if you're on the lower register, you don't want to do a character that has a high-pitched voice. But the scripts allow you to make marks and make comments, and basically you're trying to emulate what's already been done. Well, the good thing is that this area is actually expanding. There's a lot more venues that you can get into than there were a couple of years ago. Of course, we have the traditional voiceovers that are available for radio and TV. And that includes just a narration for TV broadcasts, radio programs. There's also commercials for both, for radio and TV, especially radio is growing. They have iHeartRadio, traditional FM and AM radio. There's podcasting, which is very related to this. But that's a different aspect and it's more short. There's a lot of demand for that, believe it or not. And more to the topic that we're going to be discussing on today with Dinah and Jaden is voice acting roles for animated films and the animated TV shows. This is a growing trend. There's more and more demand for animated shows. And now you don't even have to travel to the location. You can record in your own home, or you can book a little time on a studio to be able to record your voice. There's also dubbing, which is separate from voice acting. So dubbing will be something that's already been recorded in a different language. For example, a Japanese animated show that needs to be translated into English. So you're also trying to mimic or imitate as close as possible the recording of the animated part with the mouth. So trying to adapt the voiceover to your own specific language. Another wonderful job opportunities in audiobook recording. A lot of people these days prefer to use audiobooks because they don't have the time to sit down and read a book. There's a lot of different opportunities when it comes to audiobook recording. Also related to that is podcasting and dubbing projects. We're going to be doing a webinar next week specifically about podcasting, but that's also an area where you can practice your voice recording. That's a growing field. So if you want to talk about your own hobbies or you're in a particular group of interest, there's a lot of opportunities for podcasting. So you can be a part of a group of people that do a podcast, or you can develop one on your own. And similar to this, that is not related to voice acting per se, but is an audio engineer. If you're not a person that likes to perform, but you're interested in recording and the whole process, an audio engineer basically specializes on using microphones and audio equipment to capture a performance. So that's if you're more techie, that might be a career that you might want to pursue and look into. And finally, we have e-learning. Nowadays, there's a lot of demand, especially these days, for webinars and Zoom meetings. And so using a person that has a really good voice to explain a particular topic is in high demand. Also, if you're bilingual, that also helps you out a lot tremendously too, because you might be able to not only translate, but also dub those recordings into a different language. Okay, and some additional resources that we recommend, of course, is lynda.com. If you have your Miami-Dade Library card, you have free access to the whole lynda.com website. And there's a lot of really good training videos. And there's some in particular that focus on voice acting per se. There's also about audio recording and podcasting, but there's a really good, wonderful video on character and voice acting for characters. Another website that is a really good source is voices.com, and that has a lot of job opportunities. They post a lot of jobs that are available for people that are starting out, so amateurs, all the way to professional voiceover actors and narrators. They also offer career advice and tools. There are also some sample scripts that you can download and you can practice on your own as well. So that's a really, really valuable source. The third one is forvo.com, F-O-R-V-O. And this one helps you with pronouncing words. So if there's a word that you find in a script and you don't know how to properly pronounce that word, you can go to that website and you type it in and they'll tell you, basically it's gonna read it back to you in the proper pronunciation. And the cool thing about the website is that it also offers you a translation into other languages as well. And finally, the other website is I want to be a voiceover actor, a voiceactor.com. And that also has a lot of tools that are available, lessons, exercises that you can use to practice your voice, which Dinah and Jaden are gonna go over some of that in the details, how to warm up because it's like your voice is like your instrument, so you want to make sure that it's finely tuned, that you're taking care of your voice as well. So they're going to be talking, Dinah and Jaden, a little bit further on that topic. And finally, we're going to be talking about the equipment that you're going to need. So the good thing about voice acting and voice recording is that it doesn't require a lot of tools, and most of them you probably already have available to you. So you're going to need some kind of microphone. Um, you can use your iPhone or your or smartphone to record your voice. A lot of them already have microphones, and they even have applications that you can record your voice. But if you want to take it to the next level, you might want to look into using a dedicated microphone. There's basically two, a USB, so that plugs in directly to your computer and it gets power from that. So that's a really good source to start recording, but it doesn't give you the highest quality. If you want to look at a more professional setup, you want to look at an XLR microphone, and that's a microphone that has a dedicated type of cable that you're going to need an interface, and we're going to be talking a little bit further down about interfaces. So you're going to need to connect it to a little device, and from that device directly to your laptop. The good thing about using XLR, like I said, it gives you the best quality. So you can adjust your levels. You can boost your audio if it's really low. You can select different inputs. You can have multiple microphones used at the same time. So those are the good things about the interfaces. Second of all, you're gonna need a place to record. So you're gonna need a quiet place. A closet in your room is more than good enough. The main thing with these is that you wanna keep the outside noise from coming in. So if you have a pet or you have noisy neighbors, you want to make sure that you properly block that sound out, and you want to have the cleanest sound available to you. Also, maybe try recording at different times of the day when it's not so busy. So you're gonna dedicate a room or a place to record your audio. An interface, again, like I mentioned before, if you are using an XLR microphone, you're gonna need an interface like the M3 that Jaden is gonna show us. So there's another one called the Scarlett Focusrite, and that allows you again to adjust the levels and play with the audio settings to get a better sound from your microphone. You're gonna need a computer or a device, of course, to record your audio, and also a program. The program that we're using is called GarageBand, and that's a free program that comes with any Apple computer or even your Apple iPad or even your phone. But if you don't have Apple computers or devices, there's another program called Audacity, which is completely free and you can download and use it on any Windows computer or Linux computer or even Apple computers as well. Um, so on that note, I'm gonna pass it over to Jaden, who's actually gonna show us the setup that we have over at YOUmake. So passing it over to you, Jaden.
Daniel had a question earlier. He was just asking about whether you can use this app called Dubs. I think it's, no, sorry, Voice Mod. And it, like, he says it changes your voice to do, like, to practice voiceovers. So
Okay. There are
Well,
some applications that allow you to even GarageBand has some settings that you can do other types of voices. They either raise or lower your pitch. They can do like a robotic kind of sound, or there's a reverb. So there's different effects that you can use. It might be, I'm not particularly familiar with that application. But yeah, I mean, that's a good source. Jaden, I know you want to comment on this as well. Go ahead.
yes. I'm not too sure about that, but I know one of the biggest misconceptions about voice acting is people think it's like, oh, how many funny character voices can I do? But I can't stress this enough. When you're starting out, you should focus more on your acting skills, because people can do funky voices all day, but you have to really deliver a good performance and make the character that you're playing believable. So rather than trying to alter your voice and make changes to it, focus more on the performance aspect of it when you're starting out. That's
Yeah.
my advice.
Also, guys, when you I noticed the question like, can you change your voice using certain like gadgets? I I would recommend no, only because whoever's doing the listening and is trying to hire you, they need to know what your voice sounds like. What is the potential of your voice? So no, changing your voice by using levels or things like that at this moment, No, leave that to the professionals. If they were to need to do that, they would do that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Jaden?
yes. You guys can continue to ask questions in the chat throughout, and we'll be answering them periodically. But before we get to that, I wanted to give you guys a little tour of the space that I'm in, because as you can see, I'm in a sound booth, and so is Dinah. We're both in the sound booths in our spaces. So I'm going to give you guys a little tour of the place. So as you can see, the walls are padded with these foam triangles. This is really great padding to keep any echoing or reverb from happening when you're recording. You don't get that outside noise bouncing around. And even though we look all professional and fancy in this booth, this is actually something that you can DIY and put together at home. You can find either egg cartons, you can find these foam sheets online, you could use a yoga mat, even moving blankets, like any kind of thick blanket. If you can just like drape it around maybe the inside of your closet or something to isolate the sound, that also works as well. And then down here, moving to the equipment, I have the audio interface. Hector spoke briefly about this earlier. This little box is basically what the microphone plugs into. And having this audio interface gives the sound an extra place to filter through so that the quality of your sound is much higher. It's gonna sound nicer. So if you have a USB mic that plugs in directly into your computer, it's not gonna sound as smooth as if it were to be filtered through this box. And then lastly, we have the microphone setup right here. You'll notice this little circle thing in front of it. This is called the pop filter. And the purpose of that is that when you're saying like a p or a t, like a p or a t sound, it softens it up so it doesn't sound so harsh in your recording. So it filters those harsh sounds. I'm gonna put this back here, turn it around. You can see me again. So now that we've gone over the equipment, I also wanted to give you guys a couple of tips. So when you're in your sound booth and you're ready to record, make sure to avoid wearing any like jingly jewelry like bracelets or earrings or anything that might jingle, because your mic is going to pick up any little sound that's near it. So you want to avoid stuff like that. Also, you have to make sure to prepare your vocal cords beforehand, not only doing exercise like Dinah's going to show you in a bit, but make sure not to drink anything with like milk that might make you phlegmy and sound kind of congested. I would suggest maybe like a warm tea with honey that'll help soothe your throat a little bit. And of course, when you're recording, don't get too close to the microphone because it's going to distort the sound. Haru mentioned a YouTuber earlier in the chat named CDogVA. He gives this tip that if you take your hand like this and you measure it from the mic to your mouth, that'll give you a good distance that you should be from the pop filter when you're recording. So this is a good distance right here. So before we get into recording, I'm gonna pass it over to Dinah. She is a wonderful singer and she's gonna do some scales and show you guys some warm-up sizes. And then we're gonna take it back to me and I'm gonna show you guys how to read sentences in different emotions when you're reading your script. So Dinah?
All right, guys. So usually when you are about to start warming up, you want to make sure that you have a good range. So before doing some voiceover for some commercials, I've been involved in acting, and as well, I also sing. And in singing, when I was doing my singing lessons, one of the things we did was we did scales, right? That's like the number one thing that mostly all musicians do. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna match the pitch. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, do. So you want to do just a simple warm up like that to get your vocals going. You could also do some sort of buzzing. You could follow the scale as well. This one is kind of funny. It makes your face a little tingly. And I'm sorry if, I don't know if you guys can't really see me. And if your voice cracks, that's okay. My voice also cracks sometimes because I may not be warmed up enough, or maybe I ate something that gave me a little bit of phlegm, so that stays in there. So in order to clear up all of these little froggies, this is a warm-up is a must. Again, one of the other warm-ups I do is the buzzing. So I'll just listen. It's a little funny. And that takes my breath. And that obviously is gonna get your face a little tingly, but that's okay. The whole purpose of it is to get your tongue going, your face muscles going. Okay, so next, Jaden is also gonna walk us through another exercise that we're gonna do. So Jaden.
So I've got 2 lines prepared, and I wanted to talk about emotion and context, right? So you can say the same sentence in a million different ways. It all depends on which words you emphasize and the tone you say it in. So here I've prepared 2 simple lines, and I'm going to read them in 2 different tones so you guys can see the difference in how they're read. Okay. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? Uh, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? See how different those 2 sound from each other? In the first one, when I was sassy, I said, I don't know. Like, I put a lot of stress on the word no, and then on the word think. I don't know. What do you think? It sounds extra sassy. And notice how I'm also emoting and expressing with my face while I'm recording. Even though nobody's going to see you, feel free to make faces and just go crazy when you're in the booth, because it really does help your acting come forward. The second line is, please, I can't take it anymore. So I'm going to do 2 different readings of this as well. Please, I can't take it anymore. Please, I can't take it anymore. Notice how the second one was a little bit more strained, kind of tearful, like, I can't, like I'm about to cry. And then in the first one, I'm just like, please, like it's just really exaggerated, like, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be here. So it's the same sentence, but depending on the way you say it, it makes a completely different scene out of it. So our next exercise is going to be a short little monologue that I've prepared. Just like Dinah was using before, this is GarageBand, the app that we're using today. We're not going to dive too deep into the technical aspect of it, but next week when we do our podcasting webinar, we're going to teach you guys how to edit audio in case you want to make a live demo later on when you practice your voice acting skills. So in this setup, I have my narration vocal, which is the track where I'm going to be recording. I have this little notes tab right here on the side where I can copy paste my script to have it for reference. And then up here, I'm just going to be using the record, stop, and play buttons. Super simple, bare minimum stuff. So I'm going to hit the record button, and this is going to be my first take of this short little monologue. If any of you guys are familiar with the Lego movie, this is a little monologue from the first Lego movie. And scene. Yes, it's true. I may not be a master builder. I may not have a lot of experience fighting or leading or coming up with plans or having ideas in general. In fact, I'm not all that smart. And I'm not what you'd call a creative type. Plus, generally unskilled. Also scared and cowardly. I know what you're thinking. He is the least qualified person in the world to lead us. And you are right. So that was one take that I did. So again, like I mentioned earlier in the previous exercise, there are different ways that you can read the script. So I'm going to do a second take on a second track, And I'm going to put some variation in my delivery. I'm going to change up the way that I say certain lines. So I'm going to mute this, and I'm going to hit record one more time. Yes, it's true. I may not be a master builder. I may not have a lot of experience fighting or leading or coming up with plans, or having ideas in general. In fact, I'm not all that smart, and I'm not what you'd call a creative type. Plus, generally unskilled, also scared and cowardly. I know what you're thinking. He is the least qualified person in the world to lead us. And you are right. So notice how on that last line, I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I am not qualified for this. But on the second time, it was a little bit more heartfelt, and I was kind of like sad towards the end, like, man, I don't think I can do this. Like, I'm just not good at this, guys, but give me a chance. So those are two different deliveries of the line. So when you're going through a monologue, whether you're practicing or you're auditioning for something, have fun with it. Just do as many takes as you like. And of course, pick from your best takes to send in from the audition. One piece of advice that I can say with that is typically when you audition, you do about 2 to 3 takes. So a piece of advice I was given by a friend of mine who does voice acting, he said, follow instructions and do what is asked for the first 2 takes, but feel free to go crazy on the third one. Sometimes you can even ad-lib, which is improvising. You can jazz it up a little bit by adding your own extra flair to the line, and just feel free to explore the character however you see fit. So next, we're going to have Dinah join me for this other scene. We're going to do a duet scene. So Dinah, where are you at?
So guys, Jaden and I, we prepared this small script for you guys. So we're gonna act for you guys, okay? And I want you guys to, when you are reading and you are reading a script, don't be shy. Get ready, get your cup of tea ready as well. I usually drink tea, but I have water in here today. Um, so yeah.
So the scene is about a couple that has decided to go vegan, and the boyfriend is absolutely hating it because he's like, I'm eating leaves, I'm starving, and he's just like not having a good time. So it's basically that struggle. Usually when you audition for a role and you're given a script, you don't really know a whole lot about the character when you're going in. So it's kind of like going in blind. So imagine if you were to do an audition and this was the scene you're given, all you know is that you're a vegan boyfriend or girlfriend, and that's pretty much it. The rest is up to your imagination. So we're doing our own interpretation of this vegan couple today.
Yes, I was laughing at Jaden because I've had this conversation before with one of my ex-boyfriends, and yeah, it's a very familiar scene. Okay,
Relatable.
let's begin. Hope you guys like it. And even if we mess up, because again, we might mess it up, that's okay. We're just gonna start again. Isn't this incredible that we're both vegan? I can't believe we're actually gone vegan.
Babe, please. I'm starving.
Oh, come on. Just have some more salad.
Salad?
Yeah, you need to eat more plant foods, vegetables, and fruits.
I'm starving, babe, all right? I feel like I've been eating leaves all day.
Francis, stop it. It's only been 3 days.
3 days? That's all?
Yup.
Hasn't it been a week already? I feel like I'm breaking some sort of record.
Well, I'm proud of you. You're going to live a longer life.
In misery.
What?
I gotta tell you, I'm ready to grab my bow and arrow and shoot some birds in the backyard.
That's horrible. Tell me you're joking.
I'm hungry. Been eating salad that don't even look like salad. It's leaves.
It's baby spinach.
Great. Baby spinach looks like baby tree leaves. What's next? Going outside and eating dirt?
You have no discipline.
Discipline. I've been eating an entire week with.
3 days.
That's a week if you're Italian, and I feel like I'm shriveling up.
Shribbling? What's shrivel?
Shrivel. I feel like I'm shriveling, getting smaller.
You mean shriveling?
Same thing.
Well, I'm so happy we're vegan. It's the most amazing thing. I feel light and healthy, and I'm already getting a glowing complexion. You too. You're starting to get rosy cheeks.
Rosy cheeks? What rosy cheeks? You sure that's not heart failure?
No, you look more vibrant. Don't you feel it? Honestly, don't you feel like you have more energy?
I need to eat protein to have strength. Let me eat some chicken peas then.
It's called chickpeas, not chicken peas. It compensates for protein. You know, I can't believe how you go on. That's because you've been given horrible food to eat your whole life.
No, it's because I've eaten meals where I've actually used a knife.
You don't have to go vegan with me. I can do it by myself.
I just wish there was more options, Val. We go to the store and it's not even an aisle, it's a shelf. One whole shelf out of an entire supermarket for vegan. And it's all stuff that looks like it belongs on a late night infomercial.
Oh, stop.
Come on, the options are limited. Yesterday, we ate what looked like hot dogs but tasted like an inflated rubber band. Then you take coffee away from me and you have me on this messed up. Okay, from the top. Come on, the options are limited. Yesterday, we ate what looked like hot dogs but tasted like inflated rubber bands. Then you take coffee away from me and have me on this green tea, and a man needs his coffee.
It's polluting your brain.
I love coffee and I won't stop drinking it. This green tea is going too far. I need steak and pasta and meatballs and cheese and
Pasta? You have gluten-free pasta.
what's that? I've never heard of that brand. I only know Ronzoni.
It's not a brand, it's a kind of food.
Okay, look, coffee and pasta is all I want. I'll stop eating meat, all right? I'll climb trees and eat leaves, but I need my pasta and I need my coffee. Otherwise, I'll kill someone.
All right, deal. And
And
scene.
so yeah, as you can see, I messed up in one part, and that's totally normal.
It's okay.
This was a little example of character acting, playing a role. We're gonna pass it over to Dinah, and she's gonna show you guys an example of doing voiceover for commercial. So Dinah, take it away.
Our attendees are loving your acting, by the way. Everyone is saying great and loved it. Good job. Very, very cool.
We try.
But similar setup as Jaden had, but I've actually had some experience, very little experience with commercials. Actually, just to give you a little background story, when before there was TikTok and Instagram and all of that great stuff, when I was 10 years old, my mom used to catch me all the time and ask me, "What are you doing?" I was selling cream, face cream, to my mirror in the restroom all the time. I was brushing my teeth and I was doing a commercial. So maybe that's why I like doing this. So as you can see here, I have this mini script that I did. Actually, I borrowed it from online. I changed a few words just to make it a little bit more readable. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 takes. One of the practices that I, I've been taught is to go ahead and read it just cold without no acting. Just read it thoroughly so that you know what you're going to be talking about, right? So I love oats. They're healthy for your heart and they still taste great. They are a part of a healthy breakfast to give you energy and help you grow. Oats, great brain food for kids of any age. Now, I want to take a deep breath because I can feel getting a little, like, my heart rate going, but that's okay. So My second take, this one I'm going to take it a little bit more serious. I'm actually going to record this take. So I'm going to record my first one. Wish me luck. I love oats. They're healthy for your heart and they still taste great. They are a part of a healthy breakfast to give you energy and help you grow. Oats, great brain food for kids of any age. And scene. So that was the first take. Again, you like on GarageBand, you could create different tracks. So I could go ahead and record another track. Let me move this to the side. I could record another track. Make sure you have that track selected, and I'm gonna record right on top of it as well. Okay. So my next one, I'm gonna try to change it up a little bit. I'm gonna try to make it more for like if I'm delivering it to anybody. It could be an adult, a teenager, a senior citizen. So you have to think about those things, especially when delivering a commercial, like who is your audience, right? So another take. I love oats. They're healthy for your heart and they still taste great. They are a part of a healthy breakfast to give you energy and help you grow. Oats, great brain food for kids of any age. And you notice how I did change my voice? Like, that's not how I naturally talk. Like, why would I be talking like that? If I talk like that, probably people would think I'm weird. So now that we're done with that, you could go ahead and save, obviously, your takes. Go ahead and listen to them over and over to make sure that you perfect your words, your pronunciation. So don't be afraid of practicing that over and over again. Next, Jaden, we're gonna go ahead and play some reels for you. And I speak Spanish here. So if you speak other languages, it's gonna open opportunities for you. So I hope you like it and I hope you don't mind the music so much. And here goes. Oh, just wanna point out, that's actually me in the picture, holding a little teddy bear. I was 16 in this picture.
Me llamo Daina. El nombre de mi receta es tacos con mole. Lo especial de mi receta es el chocolate oscuro mezclado con el chile. Mi hermano y yo nos encontramos solos en la casa un día. Yo y él somos similares. A los dos nos encanta la comida, pero no sabemos qué cocinar. So decidimos ver qué podíamos inventarnos. Entramos a la cocina, encontramos tortilla, salsa y vegetales. Perfecto, pensamos, tacos.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, but I just want you guys to notice that obviously this was professionally put together, like all I did and I contribute to was just my voice. It took me no more than like 30 minutes to do it, and the rest was history. I left it up to the professionals and they put it all together. So I didn't exactly sit there and wait for cues. They just went ahead and started splicing, right? And thank you. And this commercial actually makes me really hungry. So let me go ahead and stop sharing.
Awesome.
Jaden?
Thank you for that, Dinah. I also have a little live demo I wanted to share with you guys. It's an example of a demo for character acting. It's not my demo, but it's a friend of mine.
You know, you're cute when you get all riled up like that. You look tasty. Very delicious. Everything about you, it's so exhilarating. Please, I'll do anything, please, please. You're Life is insignificant. Die! You better watch your back. Don't let them dethrone you too quickly. Oh, it's big boy time! Hell yeah! Let's do this! Wait, there she is! I think I'm gonna be sick! You did everything you could to teach me, and I never listened! I won't make that mistake again. Don't worry. Your legacy is safe with me! This is it! I'll send you to your grave! Redeemed Cannon!
So that's pretty much it. One of the tips that we can give you guys about demo reels is always put your best work forward. Put your strongest performance at the beginning, because most of the time when directors listen to auditions, they really only listen to the first like 8 to 12 seconds of your demo. So always want to put your best foot forward. And of course, you can jazz it up by adding sound effects and some background music. And that's if you want to get really fancy with your demos. Another thing about demos is that, at least for character acting, there's usually two. You have a 60-second one, which is a short 1-minute demo, and then you have an extended version, which is a 2-minute demo. You typically want to use the shorter one, and if the director really likes your voice and what you do, they may ask you to hear more examples, and that's when you give them the longer demo. So you always have two of them in your back pocket. And of course, lastly, one final tip I'll give regarding live demos is you want to include work from projects that you have participated in. Now, I know that sounds kind of iffy because, yeah, let me turn on my camera so you guys can see me. I know that sounds kind of iffy because you think, well, I need the job to get experience, but you need experience to get the job. It's one of those things. So when you're starting off in voiceover and you don't have any experience, you might want to maybe ask some friends of yours if they have like a comic that they want dubbed or an independent project that you can help them out on, and just get some experience from your inner circle. Find stuff from people that you know that you can offer to volunteer some work for. You always want to make sure, like I said, that you have work from projects you have participated in, and you're not just sitting in your room recording a bunch of random lines and throwing them together in a demo, because that's not going to help you a whole lot. If you're just recording by yourself and you don't have a director or anyone to give you guidance, how do you know the stuff that you're recording is good or not? So once again, can't stress it enough, do some volunteer work, participate in improv groups, take classes, and just experiment and practice, practice, practice.
Karina had a good question. How do you get those kind of jobs, like voiceover work?
Hector briefly mentioned it in the PowerPoint at the beginning. The easiest way to find work in the industry is to have an agent. That is your best bet because they will be the ones to find work for you. But again, don't jump too ahead. Before you can get to that stage, you have to practice and gain some experience first. Um, there's a bunch of different websites to be able to find work in voiceover. And the beauty about voice work, especially now, is that it's something that you can do remotely. You don't necessarily have to walk into a studio to do this. A lot of people are working from home, making up their own little setup, their own booth and a microphone, even in their own closet. So it's definitely a good place to start.
Also, to chime in as to what Jaden is saying, we recently had the storyboarding webinar. So a thing that you might want to do is team up with somebody that's trying to do an animation, because you might be trying to break into the voice part, and somebody else might be interested in the drawing and animation part. So you can definitely team up, and from that you can do, like Jaden was saying, a demo reel. And it'll look even better if you have like an animatic or a little short animation to show along. And you get experience by collaborating with other people. That's why doing those meetups that I originally mentioned is a good way to meeting up with people that are interested in the same areas of art that you are. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Any other questions?
Pretty much wraps it up for our webinar, but like Dinah said, if you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask. We have a couple minutes to answer some.
please stay tuned for next week. We're going to be doing podcasts like Hector and Jaden mentioned. And also we're going to be doing the DIY terrarium. Please sign up for that or tell your friends about it who might be interested in it. Also, would you like to talk about this, Marlon, that you're putting up on the screen?
Sure, yeah. So for the folks who live in Miami-Dade County or have a Miami-Dade Public Library System library card, this is a really cool contest that we're having right now. It's obviously it says here from September 7th through the 26th. And basically we're having a teen contest so that you guys can design a new library card. So that's what's going on here. If you see here, there's a QR code. If you want to scan it with your phone right now on the computer, you know, just get out your phone and scan it. It will take you to the rules and the directions. But basically, you can see here, you know, your design could be here, the new design. And so once this design gets chosen from whoever wins the contest, then they're going to duplicate and replicate it and create a new library card that's going to be available for people all around Miami-Dade County. So
it's going to be limited edition.
Yeah. So you see right there, winning design will be reproduced as a limited edition and made available at all Miami-Dade Public Library Systems locations. So here's some of the rules. There are some prizes. They had the prizes on here initially, but they just kind of like put down here that there is going to be prizes. So I don't know what those prizes are going to be at this point, but you can see the theme, Library of the Future. You have to be between 13 and 19 years old. I don't know why my thing is stalling here. You have to have a Miami-Dade Public Library System library card. If you don't have a card, you can visit the eCard at mdpls.org to sign up and receive one via an email. So it has to be your original artwork. It can be created either like digitally or you can draw it by hand. Only one entry per person. But yeah, so this is going to be going all the way until the 26th of this month. The library staff is going to be the judges. You can see down here we are going to ask you to give your original artwork. So if you do create original artwork for this, make sure that you save the original piece, that original artwork, before you start adding the other digital elements like type and everything. So we're going to announce the winners in October, and the winners will receive a prize, or the winner and runner-ups will receive a prize. And yeah, all those entries that are submitted will become property of the Miami-Dade Public Library System. So you can go to the library's website and look at all the details there. There's a certain size, and you can also scroll down to the rules, and there's a little template there for you that you can use to draw your design. And you can see the bleed areas there. So you really want to draw inside of this black space here.
Yeah, so this is the die cut. Oh,
yes.
Cool.
So it's going to look like that. And where do you find that? Well, you'll go to, you guys can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to our library's website. So let me go back. So you're going to go to the mdpls.org. That's our library's website here in Miami. And it's right there on the front. Yeah, like Dinah's saying, right there on the front. You can see there's a bunch of different things that are scrolling through. So you want to make sure that you kind of catch it or use the arrows to scroll through. And once you click on that library card design, it'll take you to the page and everything is right there for you. The rules, the dimensions, you can download the entry form. But yeah, we wanted to tell you guys about this because we have a lot of great artists that come to these webinars. And even if you're not like, you know, an established artist, give it a try. You never know, you may win. And you can get a prize, and you can also get your you know, design replicated on library cards around Miami-Dade County.
Now, I know some of you are out there telling us that you can't participate. Well, don't worry. I have a few tricks up my sleeve that I'd like to implement for the future and getting you guys to do artwork from your home, and you get to share it with us digitally. So it's going to be fun, so stay tuned. I hope we continue growing this little family that we have here. And again, thank you so much for coming and joining us every day, every Friday, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yes.
So thank you all. Thank you, Dinah. Thank you, Jaden, Hector. You guys have been amazing. Thank you, Nicole, our new staff, even though she wasn't on yet. She just started. But you'll be hearing more from Nicole as well. But again, we want to thank you all for coming on September 11th. Kind of a heavy day, but a beautiful day as well because we have family here. So we'll see you guys next week. And what is next week? What are you guys presenting?
Again, we're doing the podcasting.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in getting your podcast going, or you have a friend who wants to learn how to do podcasting, bring them over.
Yes. All right. So we'll see you next week on Friday, 4 to 5 p.m.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.